Okay, hello and welcome to another new episode of the Filmageddon podcast. Do I sound surprised? Yes I am, because this is like literally 3 weeks running. I think we've set a new record in the Guinness Book of World Records. Adam Grundy, who's here, he's going to have to check that out for me. Can you check it out? You're the producer.
No, I can't, Frank. Can't be bothered.
But that's your job. You're the producer. You produce things like facts and figures.
It's more of a vocation. It's a lot like being a priest. You know, I wasn't called.
So you diddle little kids.
Not only did I diddle the kids,
which
but
brings us to the next person who's on the podcast,
Stephen K. Amos.
Yeah.
Who else is there?
It's Blair. Don't want to be associated with anything that you guys say, so I might stay quiet for the foreseeable future. But yeah, glad to be back. 3 weeks in a row.
3 weeks. Guys, it feels great.
I'm gonna save Adam some face here because bit of insider information. Not a Guinness World Record. But
are you sure?
Yeah, absolutely.
Positive.
100%. My granny used to get
3 weeks in. 3 weeks in a row we've been doing this podcast.
But my granny used to get me Guinness World Record book every Christmas. And I've read a lot of them.
There wasn't a picture of us in them.
None of them. Nope.
This is disappointing.
I mean, it just gives us something to work forward to. Strive for greatness.
Here we are. It's a third week in a row. We'll stop making a big deal out about that sort of stuff soon, I promise. It's me, it's Adam, it's Blair, and we are here to talk about film and ramble for the next 40-odd minutes or so, which sounds good to me. How about you guys?
Yes.
Yep, sounds good enough for me to be here to do it, so...
Okay, what films have you seen this week? Any?
Any and all. I went into the past, I took a blast from the past, and I watched Blast from the Past.
Oh.
I was keeping up from a few weeks ago on my Brendan Fraser kick.
Yes,
and,
the best.
Yeah, I mean, the best two Brendan Fraser movies, arguably by far, Bedazzled and now Blast from the Past. And I forgot just how good Blast from the Past was. A great film. If you've not gone and watched it, go and do it. I mean, there's not much more to say about it. Brendan Fraser in his heyday. Christopher Walken, Alicia Silverstone, Dave Foley, and who else was in it? That one guy. That one guy who was
He knows who he is.
He was in stuff. Yeah. But it's good. If you've never seen it, it's about Brendan Fraser. He's raised in a bomb shelter, and he comes up 35 years later, and hilarity ensues.
Wait, so what did it? So he like is born in a bomb shelter, but did a bomb go off?
Have you not seen it?
No, do I sound like I've seen it?
I've not seen it either.
What?
No,
so you told me about this film like at the pub, maybe every time we've gone.
So Christopher Walken and Sissy Spacek are like in the 60s or whatever. It's during like the Cold War, and they're working at the bomb shelter, and a plane crashes in their backyard. And so Christopher Walken sets the locks thinking it's a nuke, and the locks are for 35 years. So then 35 years passes, and it's the 90s. And basically, Christopher Walken comes up. He realizes the world's gone to hell because they've buried their house in Los Angeles. So 90s Los Angeles, they come up and everything's crazy. Then Brendan Fraser has to go on a quest, and he meets a girl along the way. And it's a zany, wacky romantic comedy, and it's great. It's really good. I actually really enjoy it.
That sounds like something I'd be interested in.
It's sort of like, I'm not a massive romantic comedy guy, but it's one of the few that I could probably count on one hand that I could like be in to watch. It's like Blast from the Past, Just Friends, and well, maybe it's just those two. I think just those two romantic comedies for me.
Letters from Iwo Jima.
No, Flags of Our Fathers was.
Of course. Well, you take that side.
Yeah.
We'll go the other one. Oh, well, let's see.
Yeah.
Let's meet in the middle.
What about you guys? Have you seen anything recently?
Yeah, I watched Clown. That.
Oh, how was that?
It was. You know what? So obviously it's about a guy who puts on a haunted clown costume, and then he can't take it off, and like it's I think Eli.
It sounds shit.
Yeah, so exactly right. I watched it, and like I think it's Eli Roth produced it, Of course he did.
Uh-oh.
But
Hemlock Grove.
exactly.
Run, Blair, run away from it.
I can't wait for the Eli Roth fucking multiverse. But Clown, he like at the start, it's just like, okay,
Clown eat kid.
I get it. But then the fact that they stick to it, even though it's so ridiculous, and it gets like the fact that they don't like let up and just stick with this idea and really go into it, and the idea the clowns were actually like kept in, they were like different monsters kept up in a mountain and all this shit, and his spirit has been captured in that suit, and he has to kill kids to then release himself from it and all this shit. It's
it sounds like a case of, because I followed the production of that film, because it was a short film that like Eli Roth saw, and he was like, let's make a movie out of that. And it just sounds like the case of something that works really good as a short film, and then it's like, let's make it an hour and a half, and it just turns to shit.
No, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So I think if it was a short film, it would be, well, if it was a short film, like if it was like within like 10, 15 minutes, it would be all right.
I think that's what it was, 15 minutes.
Because like it's shit for the first like hour and 10 minutes maybe, but whenever you realize that they're not they're so like stone faced about like, he has to kill the kids because he's a clown. Like it's not, it
laughs.
It doesn't really it. I love the fact that they dedicated so much to it and like didn't let up and just sort of went, you know what, fuck it, we're making a film about me being a clown. I'm a clown. Fuck it, I'm a clown. So yeah, you know what? I think because the good bit was at the end, I actually enjoyed it, but overall, probably, not great.
Did you see that? Like I knew this Death Proof remake with Bruce Willis was coming out. Like I heard about it and I saw the trailers were coming out. Had no idea Eli Roth was directing it.
Oh, good.
And so something to look forward to once you finish binging through Hemlock Grove.
And Eli Roth should change his name to just Eli Roth, because I don't think anyone says like Eli Roth, like an intonation over the O and the T, I guess.
You're like,
I
no
think
way.
Maybe at one point they did, right? Or, maybe not. Adam, what about you?
Well, I have actually doubled my intake, which is usually nothing. So I watched a film that we've been wanting to see this film for ages, but for some reason or another, we just never watched it. I've had it downloaded. So it's called Heart Attack. It's a Thai film, and I am not even going to try and attempt to embarrass myself and say the guy's last name, but it's directed by a guy called Nawapol, and he's done like he did a few things that I've seen in the past. So he did like this film called Mary is Happy, Mary is Happy. He also did this film called like 36, which I feel like I've seen, but I also feel like I've not. But he did like a what's it called, romantic comedy called Bangkok Traffic Love Story, and it sounds shit, but it was, but very watchable. But he's done like music videos and stuff, so we always wanted to watch this film because it came out 2015, and it was really good. Like I guess it's like a romantic comedy, but it's done in a very artistic way, and it's not like whoa,
a blast from the past.
Yeah, it takes it seriously, and it's really interesting. It's all about a guy he's a freelancer, and he starts getting these spots on his neck, and he goes to the doctor, and he's
a Dalmatian.
Yes. Oh my god, that'd be way better.
That's if Eli Roth did it.
He meets this, his doctor who's kind of his age, but she's like, basically she kind of assesses his life and says like, dude, your work's killing you. So then it kind of becomes about neck. Yeah, and then that's whatever. I'll just stop talking then.
No, go ahead.
No, it's really good. It's really good, and I love the guy's stuff. And if you can see this film, or you can see Mary is Happy, or even he did a music video for a band called Yellowfang, which is really good. And I would suggest that if you are interested in Thai cinema at all. And if you're not, well, I don't give a shit. So I also then watched Valerian, the planet of the 1,000 cities of the seas.
Oh yeah,
of the earth.
Ah.
What's the verdict?
And
okay,
right.
So you guys have seen, or in some form, have seen Cowboy Bebop.
Yep.
So the guy who made Cowboy Bebop, took him a fair few years, but it's on Netflix now. You can see his follow-up to that, which is called Space Dandy.
Yeah.
So Space Dandy's like, it's batshit crazy, really bright, all in space, so dense. Everything was so dense. Such a dense universe. If this film had the design that it had, but with Space Dandy, I actually think it would have been perfect because it would look amazing and have a great story. The fact is, I've never seen a film with two least likable people as the stars. They have no chemistry. They're like two opposite ends of a magnet.
They're both voids, basically.
They're both voids. It looks like two. It looks like the film Simone, but double. They're just two robots who they look at each other with passion, but they don't look at each other with passion. So the script has had to be like, the start thing is like all about like this alien planet and its kind of destruction. And it does, okay, that's interesting. But the two fucking stars are like, there's a bit where he's like, hey, I'm a soldier. I like to follow things by the rules. And I was like, don't say it, just show it.
Yeah.
Just say, I'm a soldier. And she could be like, well, I'm younger than you or whatever, and I'm a bit of an upstart. But don't say it. It was too much saying because it wasn't enough. They didn't have enough between them, and there's no subtlety to it. Saying that, there were some bits that were so enjoyable. Actually, the universe looks amazing. Even though it's all CGI to fuck, it looks amazing. Rihanna was funny.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Don't lie.
I'm not lying. I enjoyed Rihanna in it. I'm not lying.
How much of a part does she have? Is it just like a cameo where she like does that burlesque thing, or does she actually like talk to people?
She talks to people. Like she is part of the story. It isn't. I thought the same thing. Like from the trailers, it looks like she just turns up and does a dance, but no, she is actually she's a plot device of sorts. One of the drawbacks as well is that like I know that he made this film. Luc Besson made this film because when he originally made The Fifth Element, he pretty much just copied this comic book. This French comic book, I think it was, Valerian and whatever her fucking name was, Lucario. And he copied this thing, and now that he's been able to actually get it, you can tell this guy fucking loves it. And everything is so much detail, there's so much universe built, and it's just a shame because it'll never get a fucking second film. The problem is that like you can see where when he did The Fifth Element, what he tried to copy. So obviously Chris Tucker in Fifth Element. Was Chris Tucker? Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
When
best role of the film.
Yeah.
Best role.
Great hair.
In this one, you can pretty much see that where the Chris Tucker role was, and it's fucking Ethan Hawke dressed like fucking dressed like Kid Rock. It's terrible.
Right, I'm sold. Just on that.
So there's a lot of missed opportunities. Bit too long. Clive Owen's a bit of a waste. All in all,
just generally though, right?
Oh yeah, he should have been Bond, and since he wasn't, now he's just plodding along. I don't know. I'd watch it if it was on Netflix, but don't pay any money to see it. It's not that good.
That's interesting because I think the thing.
That's a shame.
I was sort of looking forward to seeing it because I do love 90s Luc Besson stuff. But I think there's a weird thing that I can't get over, where I think what I liked so much about the 90s stuff like The Fifth Element is the way like it wasn't like 100% CGI'd. There was like you could see like bits of the set,
practical stuff going on.
Yeah, and it was a bit. It was easier to.
There's very little CGI in that. Film.
And it was quite camp. Not like it wasn't. It obviously didn't take itself seriously, but it wasn't just 100%. Like from Valerian in the City of the fucking million people or whatever, it looks like. It just looks like a.
It's the sequel.
It just looks like a cutscene from like Mass Effect or something. Like there's too much of that 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 shade of blue, like that neon blue almost, and then orange that's in everything. That orange and blue and orange and blue.
I thought from the like trailers and everything, I thought it actually looked like quite a nice change of pace from the normal sort of super CGI sci-fi stuff because of the color.
Okay,
like it reminded me a bit more of that like fun vibe of The Fifth Element, which is what excited me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's-
definitely got that, and it's not like with like one of the recent Star Treks, where it's like all like lens flares and all that kind of shit. It does kind of revel in its it revels
Crapulence.
in its well, I'll say it revels in its absurdity, but it's actually not very good, and it's so long, and there's times where I sank into my seat of how embarrassed I was to be watching it.
But the thing, I wonder if, because I think I remember when I first saw The Fifth Element, and I'm pretty sure I saw it in cinemas. I'm pretty sure I didn't really like it at all, and then like years later came to the fact I was like, wait, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's almost like a case of that, where like in a few years people will look back on it and be like, no, wait, this film is actually really good.
And I think that could definitely happen, but it wouldn't be down to. It would be like. It wouldn't be down to the actors in it. You could still watch Fifth Element and still sit through Bruce Willis and
Gary Oldman. Is
Gary
amazing.
Oldman, yeah, exactly.
Lee Evans.
Those characters.
Yeah.
That big woman at check-in when it's like, "Oh, hello. Like that. Yeah, because you can. That's absurd. That's ridiculous. But it's also really fun, and the actors do a really good job with it. The problem is that 7 out of 10 people in this film I wanted to punch. So, I mean, whatever, isn't it? What's his name? Dane DeHaan?
Yeah.
Dean DeHaan?
Yeah.
He's garbage, man. He is garbage.
I've never liked him.
I think...
I don't like anything he's
Is
done.
he the one that's in that fucking... shit.
Chronicle?
Chronicle? Fuck that.
Of Narnia? Yeah.
I hate that guy.
And
then he was in, Spider-Man... Amazing Spider-Man 2. That's just the worst thing.
Oh, okay.
And then that was it. So those two things.
Those two things.
He's done nothing else.
Good on him.
Regardless, as if he did.
So, yeah, it's I think a missed opportunity, but if they did a sequel with that universe, with a completely different story, I'd be more than happy
different
to watch
characters.
it. Different characters, different story, something that isn't as long in the tooth. Even the story, I guess, isn't that bad. It's just that it knows where it wants to be, and it had a little start, and it just fucks up, and it's like a firework that's going all around. You're like, it's pretty, but it's aimless, and then it blows up in the end. You're like, I knew it'd do that, and you're like, well, of course you did. It all ends like that. So, well, there you go. It's a firework that is it's a cheap firework made in China, but
Made in France.
yeah.
But it's
I was going to say real quick, to end the cliffhanger from last week, I watched the second half of Alien Covenant.
Oh,
as
shit.
Oh yeah.
and
Ooh. I liked it. I was fine with it. It was okay.
yeah.
That's good.
I was okay. It was better than Prometheus. So there you go.
Do you think?
I do, yeah. And I was one of the few people who actually liked Prometheus as well.
Yeah.
So
I
don't really. I liked all the bits with the David and the other one, Steven Weber. I don't know what his other name was. Walter, that's it. Walter and David.
Yeah. Well,
Sure, good job, and aliens and all that.
Do you think
anyway,
they should just
that's the past.
draw a line under it, and that's the last one?
I think they're trying to make another one.
Oh, good. Of course they are.
I've got a theory that it's gonna end on the planet where Aliens is set,
Yeah.
and that's where Aliens comes from. You see?
I like it.
Do you see?
Yeah.
So those are the films we watched this week. So that was good.
On Thursday as well, we are finally seeing a film that we've been planning to see for quite a while. It is Shin Godzilla.
Or Shin Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either or.
Or Godzilla Resurgence. It's got about 8 different titles.
That one's crap.
It was really weird because like when it was coming over to Western markets, they're like, right, people aren't going to get Shin Gojira, so we're changing it to Godzilla Resurgence. And then somebody else was just like, wait a second, people will get it. Just change Gojira into Godzilla, and we'll keep the Shin part. And there you go, Shin Godzilla.
Yeah, because Shin just means like new, doesn't it? So it's just new Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a resurgence.
And
Yeah. Well, no, because a resurgence just sounds like they were like, go to the bingo machine where we do the balls round and pick one of those words out, and it's like revolutions. That doesn't make any sense. Resurgence. Yeah, why not? Fuck it. War for the
it
rise
has to
of
be
the
an
Godzilla.
R.
War of the
Could have
Planet.
been Rebirth, Revival.
Revival's
Yeah.
all right. No, it isn't.
Yeah.
Shin
No,
Godzilla's a good
Revival's
name.
kinda-
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think Shin Godzilla's good because, like, even just not knowing what it means, it sort of sounds cool. You're like, ooh, Shin Godzilla. Like, you don't want to... You wouldn't say Revival Godzilla. That sounds kind of shit. But, like,
No.
Shin Godzilla, Anyway, yeah, we finally get to see it.
do.
More than a year after it's finally come out, after avoiding all the downloaded copies and having all the other countries in the world have screenings of it, the UK is finally going to have one-day-only screenings on this Thursday, and I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, I will be in Riga, capital of Latvia, and not watching it, which is, you know...
Isn't that one of the places Godzilla already destroyed?
I hope maybe I can go and stand in one of his footprints or something. Yeah.
some of the craters, yeah.
Yeah, so I think I'll just have to, you know, download it when I get back.
They might have a
And if the
screening there,
FBI is listening, you know.
Yeah, so you guys will definitely do that illegal recording of it for me, won't you? Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
I'm bringing in my phone to record it.
Excellent.
But I'm just going to record my reactions to the whole film.
Yeah, just like from like...
like Shia LaBeouf.
yeah.
Yeah. And I'll be just as excited. Yeah, can't wait. Cannot wait. Been waiting ages. Been putting off watching it on the small screen. And the patience has paid off. Or,
It is
well, we
amazing
shall
that,
see.
like, it's amazing that this film, like, there's so many people. Like, I put a thing up before on Filmageddon's Twitter, which is Filmageddon Quiz, and you know, saying like, "Hey, we're all going to this on Thursday, really excited." And we got like, you know, a few people back being like, "It looks, you know, it's great." You know, vouching for it. People who've actually seen it before. Other people are like, "I've been looking forward to it as well." So I don't know. I'm really interested because I haven't heard a negative thing from it, and I know you've been excited for it quite some time. So it's just nice that a film that's been out for so long elsewhere is actually still having this buzz effect on it, that people are like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, it's happening! I need to be at that screening."
Because it was supposed to only be in a few screens, and then they, like most of these things, it expanded, and I think it's in, like, I don't know, 80 screens maybe? That sounds like a lot for this country.
Yeah.
So, like, 80 different cinemas will be playing it on the day, and then I think after that day, it's done. I would imagine not too long after, they'll announce, like, a home video release, which I'm gonna get on. Very excited, because, yeah, I've seen them all, and it looks like a good old return to form, and hopefully tides me over until the, whatever it is, Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Ooh.
Which will probably be better than Godzilla 2014, because that film was boring.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to it, and yeah, just keep a little eye on our little Twitter, and I think we'll do a little thing about like what we thought of it and stuff. Maybe a bit of a snap review, if you will.
Oh, thought you were gonna say chat. I was like, we don't do that.
No, good God, no.
Adam's dirty secret.
My Snapchat is the username is Harvey Firestein. Obviously, if you guys are still interested.
Harvey Firestein.
I haven't been on it since, but I'm just waiting for Harvey to get in contact and ask for the name.
Try and buy it off you, get a couple of quid off him.
I would happily take any money off Harvey Firestein.
I thought you were gonna say you would take anything off of Harvey Firestein.
See, I just
You caught yourself.
low hanging fruit there. I was like, I'll pull the branch up.
That's not a nice thing.
Let's
to
have a
call
bit.
it.
Let's have a bit more of a sensible podcast.
It took a second, but it hit. It finally hit that sweet spot.
Yeah, did you get?
Just like Harvey Firestein. Oh, why did I send my mother to Atlanta? David!
Yep. Yet again.
Last week we had a big topic, and it was quite a nice discussion, which is all about ways that you watch movies.
Oh yes, I remember.
Yep.
And it was quite interesting. I genuinely enjoyed the little chat. So we're trying to keep the ball rolling here on Filmageddon. So guys, big topic this week.
More questions. Here we go.
The big thing is
Fingers on the buzzers.
Yeah. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Stephen, what?
Hawking.
Oh, just King.
Okay, no.
Bang.
Just King. No, yes, Blair,
no.
you're correct.
Oh.
You've won film again for today. Yes, we was talking about
wait.
Stephen King's multiverse or cinematic multiverse.
Yeah.
The cinematic Steven verse.
Yeah.
Wait, Steven Universe.
Oh.
That's a show, right?
Yeah, it is.
There it is.
So, obviously, The Dark Tower's coming out. Or is it out? It's out. No, wait.
No, not yet.
It's out in America, but not here yet.
Yeah.
Right, thank you. So, obviously, Dark Tower's coming out, and weird enough, they're already saying, well, we're doing a TV series as well, which is going to be a prequel and all this shit. But there has been a bit of a thing how they're going to be kickstarting the Stephen King cinematic universe, and obviously after this, it's going to be it. I don't know. Just first reactions. What do you guys think that even means?
Well, I think that obviously the multiverse has existed in the books for a long time, and there's been a lot of implied connections between a lot of the different parts of the different stories. Like the first Dark Tower book came out in like fucking 1982 or some shit, and I think it's just disappointing because if this is in effect, it should be the culmination of like all the Stephen King adaptations in film. Do you know what I mean? It should be like the apex where it all gets tied together, and you go, oh shit! And there's like the little Easter egg of the Pennywise sign and the Overlook Hotel and the kids fucking in the trailer and the Dark Tower and the kids like psycho office. You know, it should be like the apex of like where it all comes and it all gets tied together, but it seems real like lackluster, and like it seems like they've just decided to cash in on this idea, which is, you know, a shame, because like the idea of the Dark Tower is like it's an epic. Do you know what I mean? It shouldn't be fucking 98 minutes long or whatever the film is, and it's sort of sad that it's, you know, that's what it's come to, you know.
I mean, this film has just gone through the shitter since the beginning. Like,
yeah.
I mean, like it's what, 7-8 books, and like the books just get progressively longer. Like, you know, you're talking in like the hundreds of pages. I think the whole series we looked at it the other day was like 4,000 pages.
Yep.
Jesus.
It's meant to be like this, I mean, Lord of the Rings style epic. And for a time, when the project was originally going to happen, it was supposed to be that. I remember them saying, when it finally got off the ground, they're like, it's going to be 3 films or 4 films with like an HBO style series in between each film with using the same actors that would connect it. And it was meant to be like Javier Bardem was going to play the gunslinger, Ron Howard was going to direct it all this stuff, and then everything
wasn't there a bit
went
where like
quiet.
Aaron Paul was going to be in it as well? Like, was that
Aaron
thing?
Paul's basically like a massive fan of this one character who doesn't show up till the second book,
right?
And he, to be fair, he'd play it really well.
Well, which character is that?
Have you read the second?
Yeah,
one?
I read the second one.
The guy from New York.
Oh, the
one of the
drug addict?
One of the 3.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So he wanted to play him.
Oh,
and,
shit.
like this,
because that would just be like,
yeah.
It's basically like Jesse from Breaking Bad, isn't he?
Hey, he gets it now.
It's all falling into place.
Yeah, so that whole idea, and it was like, although I guess like the studios sort of balked at the idea because it was meant to be this sprawling epic, but like it was also meant to be sort of like R-rated, and then it went quiet, and then all of a sudden they're like, right, we're gonna make one film, and we're gonna cast it, and it's gonna have like a director who's not done much, and okay, we got Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey, but that's about it, and it's disappointing. And now it's, you know, it's come out and the reviews haven't been kind, and you know, there's like, we've got the series we're gonna do, and the guy's already talking about a potential sequel, but it's like it made $19 million in its opening weekend. It finished number 1, but it was like the lowest number 1 summer release that I can remember in ages. And like, I think it cost about 60 or 70 million to make, so it might just make its money back. But I feel like, I don't know, they're going to sink the money into a TV series or anything, because it just seems like a waste. And this whole sort of Stephen King universe, I feel is like more of a pipe dream than anything, because even though you have all these films that are like adaptations of his works, it's like, you know, some of those films he gives his endorsement to, some of those he doesn't. Some of those films, all the films are owned by different studios and companies. Yeah. So like The Dark Tower does this, like they released a trailer where it just points out all the little references. So like, hey, here's a picture of the Overlook Hotel, and here's a big St. Bernard walking down the street, and here are two twins playing in the park.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get it. There's imagery from his other stories, but it's not like this Dark Tower movie's connected to like Christine from John Carpenter or The Shining from Stanley Kubrick. It's just like Easter eggs that I don't think are going to amount to much in the end.
Yeah, of course. It's not like it's going to be a massive payoff like a Super Smash Bros. Melee fucking with Carrie fucking fighting.
Well, even like with the new
Mile.
It coming out, like I think those are different companies. So like, you know, if I was watching The Dark Tower and saw like whoever it is playing Pennywise show up as Pennywise, I'd be like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, I'd almost be at this point more disappointed if that happened than excited, because as you say, it's you know, nothing's been set up. It's just like forced down people's throat at this point.
Yeah. I think
like I was reading about how, obviously, because it's like the whole thing of like cinematic universes and all that shit is obviously the in thing, and it will go away eventually. But, you know, we're not like, okay, this is where film is now, it will be like this in perpetuum. But like, obviously, if you look at like how Universal are doing it, because they do have the rights to make this kind of shit, and they've got, you know, their slate is like The Mummy, which obviously had 20,000 writers on it. You got Bride of Frankenstein, which comes out 2019. And then from there on, it's like Creature from the Black Lagoon, Invisible Man, Van Helsing. But because of those kind of characters and that kind of world and the time they're set in, you can imagine, well, they all share very, very similar themes. And you could imagine eventually the culmination, like you were saying, the big Super Smash Brothers of it all, they all meet and they're all going to have a big scrap, and it'll be like fucking, I don't know, Van Helsing high fives the Invisible Man, but you're like, hey, where is he?
He misses, yeah.
But like, who wants to
see that?
It makes sense. Yeah, because it makes sense, right, for a superhero movie. Yeah. Because that's what superheroes are. They're these people that just fight each other. But like, how's that make sense for monsters? Like, okay, we did Monster Squad back in the day, but like, you know, and they'll try to make it make sense, but it just doesn't. Like, it's a thing that started with the superhero genre, really. Like, I mean, it sort of has existed for a while, but it was Marvel that really set it off. And all these other companies are like, hey, this is the ticket, because if one of these works, people are going to pay money to see the rest.
Yeah, exactly. But then they don't think about what if one of them don't work, like The Mummy.
Yeah, because you need winners out the gate, for it to work.
Well, like you said about the whole thing with characters appearing in it, so I did a little bit of looking and how in Misery, James Caan, who's like the writer in it, Paul, it's revealed in that he was actually from Derry, Maine, not Derry, Ireland. And obviously Derry, Maine is where It is based, and that he was a neighbour of one of the kids growing up. Yeah. And then like if you actually look, like, again, I've not read The Dark Tower, but apparently in that, I don't know if it's I know it's in the book, but I don't know if it's in the series as well. But remember that series that came out, which was 11/22/63.
Yeah,
James Franco.
James Franco's in the TV show.
Yeah.
Apparently, the man in black appears in the end of that book, or he's in the end of this series. So if it becomes that thing of like you say, characters kind of crossing over, in a way you can go, I get it. I read about how there's a clown of some sort, like some weird clown demon in the Dark Tower, and how that is actually
who's meant to be Pennywise.
Who's meant to be Pennywise. So it's like, okay, you're right. It is kind of like,
well,
okay.
I think the overall idea is that the Dark Tower itself is meant
binds
all the bad world where like things like Pennywise exist, and the things like the mist, all the bad things from the mist, the bad things, the monsters,
and the the Man in Black is the overarching antagonist in a lot of Stephen King's work. So he's in the Strand, he's like Randall Flagg, and like he goes by all these different names, but he is at base level like the Man in Black. So if the Strand ever comes out, which somebody's trying to make, which is another meant to be this epic thing, it's like, hey, just hire Matthew McConaughey, right? Is that what you're trying to get at?
I think the issue...
That would be fine. That kind of makes sense, actually, if that's the idea. But then again, like you say, it's such an abstract thing. And also, when does this begin? Are we saying that it begins... Okay, from now on it begins, the Dark Tower onwards. So... There's going to be stuff in It and It 2, or whatever they're going to call it, and...
Electric Boogaloo?
Electric Clownaloo, and, okay, so whatever's in the Dark Tower definitely appears in that, and from now on. And if that's the case, then, what are they going to do then when they look back at stuff like The Shining, or they look at Dead Zone, or you look at stuff like Misery? Are they going to be like, well, we're going to remake them? Because then when do they stop? Because the Green Mile, where's that?
They're going to remake him.
Literally every one of his books does have something related to the other ones, but I think this is the issue. Like it's interesting because if you grew up reading Stephen King and like Carrie came out in like 1974, 75 as a book, and if you were reading Carrie and then you read like Salem's Lot and then The Shining and then The Gunslinger, and there was like little because they're only small bits. Like they're not like it's not plot driving points. Do you know what I mean? It's not like one of those characters like crosses over and then saves someone, in like fucking a Spider-Man film. but I think
the closest that happens is the Dark Tower.
Yeah, exactly. Basically. So I think it was more knowing how Stephen King writes and how he likes to do his stories. He just sort of did them as like little Easter eggs and like little nods for the people that have been with him the whole time, and then he just did it, I think, to make himself more interested in writing it as well, because if he can put little like Easter eggs in everywhere, it gives him a little he'll feel like an episode of Columbo. Do you know what I mean? He thinks I've got a fucking, let's see if everyone can get all of them. But now it does seem a bit shoehorned whenever it gets into the film adaptations, because that's almost changed from like a back page like to like a selling point almost. Do you know, that's like what everyone's talking about. Oh, how can you and like as if in the Dark Tower, this film, if they went from the Overlook Hotel to fighting Cujo to yeah, exactly, if they like literally jumped about in through his different stories, then you would be like, holy shit, they have sold their soul. But I
mean, like, Stephen King is, he's great. He's done great stuff, but he's also an insane person who's made some really shit things.
Yeah.
So like,
and he is a producer on the Dark Tower, so
yeah, it's like one of the ones that's closest to him, which is depressing to see that he's let it sort of. I mean, and I've not seen it yet, and I've heard things about the story that it doesn't follow the book. It's like a sequel because there's a plot device in the book that basically restarts the cycle of what happens in the book. So this could be a different cycle. Yeah. But like, I hate that. Like, if you're gonna adapt the book, don't do it like that. I'm still looking forward to seeing it. I'm gonna see it, and I'm hoping this is one of those cases where it's a film everybody slags off, and I'm just like, oh, I actually like it, so don't really care. Which has been known to happen.
It does feel like the whole sort of, I guess, the conclusion is everything just feels a little half-assed about, like, if you just think about when all these films were being made and it was like, okay, but it's also based on Stephen King, or, this is actually directly an adaptation of the book and stuff. At no point in 2007 when 1408 was coming out were people going, another one of those Stephen King extended universes, if you know what I mean. and thank God, because that film was dreadful, but there was never a concerted effort. Stephen King was always behind the scene, kind of like, oh, you'll enjoy this one, because he represented more of a tone, like a tonal work and a mark of quality. Do you know? It's like having the little Nintendo stamp on your game. It's like, oh, Stephen King's involved. Oh, okay, well then, I know he's done some stinkers, but on the whole, the guy knows, like, the guy's been churning out a book a year or something for fucking yonks. So he can obviously, he obviously loves writing, and what a good thing that you've still got a writer who's still going, who's like, yeah, I'll do another one. He has done some shit, but it just feels like...
do you happen... I want to ask both of you this, actually. Do you know how, in the Stephen King multiverse, how it is said our universe is created?
No.
Any guesses?
Through... I read about one thing before we start this podcast where it's like, there is in one of his multiverses in the book that he's the author.
Yeah. So basically, basically there are these guardians type things, and there's this one who's this giant turtle who's got a stomach ache, and he vomits out the universe.
Isn't that like a Terry Pratchett thing where the universe exists on a fucking turtle on top of 2 Easter eggs in a bird bath?
But that is like the level we're dealing with. Like, a turtle vomits out our universe, which includes a fictional version of Stephen King who writes The Dark Tower, and Roland, who's the gunslinger in The Dark Tower, can't complete his task if the author dies before that because he won't know how to progress. It's just like...
It's just like George R.R. Martin.
Yeah, but at least he told the producers how he's going to finish that series.
Yeah.
It's weird, though, because it's like, that's just the mark of a man who knows that no matter what he writes, he knows the amount of money he's going to have by Christmas, and he's just like, fuck it, I've paid off the kids' presents, I'm sorted. So
I wonder how much does he write a year, do you reckon?
Shit, he writes every day, I think.
He used to, didn't he used to release, a book a year, and then that's why he released, because, what was it? It was, Richard something, and he used to go by this
Richard
alias,
Bachman.
because he was like, is that what? Yeah.
Yeah, but that was way earlier. That's in the 70s whenever he did The Running Man and shit like that.
Doesn't his son go by an alias as well?
Yeah, Ricardo Bachman. I don't know.
Wait. But you'll find out written more.
You'll find out he never had a son, and it was him all along. He was like, I did it again.
He released 3 novels in 1983.
Oh yeah,
Jesus. Christine, Pet Cemetery, and Cycle of the Werewolf.
Wow,
what a year, eh?
And he had 3 films out that year as well.
Did he?
Yeah, Cujo came out in 1983. The Dead Zone came out in 1983.
Pet Cemetery.
So did Christine.
Oh no,
Cujo he wrote in 81 as well. That's a quick turnaround.
And
he's written...
Do you know, apparently...
I thought he would have written
more. He was
more.
so drunk and off his head on cocaine that he doesn't really remember writing Cujo. Because I just finished reading his book on writing about how he writes and stuff. And I mean, it is like you could make a book. You could make a film about that book, and it's about him talking about writing. Like, it's actually really interesting. So,
Does all this whole Dark Tower Stephen King multiverse, does it tie in with the failed CBS show Under the Dome?
Probably, yeah.
But that's the thing, like...
It all...
Which, does that mean it ties into the Simpsons movie?
Yeah.
Because they're the same thing.
I think it's actually... the whole universe exists in the reflection on... what do you call... that fucking Dean Norris's head?
His diamond watch.
Like, you zoom out, you zoom out loads and loads and loads, and then, like, at the end of Men in Black 2, it's just a little bead of sweat and Dean Norris's sweaty head under that dome.
I did read as well about that there was a possible Shining sequel, and when I read that, I was in work and I got up from my computer and I went outside and I had just a quiet moment to myself. I came back in.
That book sounds batshit crazy.
So the idea is it's Doctor Sleep, which is the direct sequel to The Shining, and it's about his son. And basically, he kind of does the same thing that a lot of fucking Stephen King is. And you know what? He has psychic abilities, and you're like, yeah, I get it.
Ooh. Yeah, because
I get it, Stephen. You love this.
Yeah,
I think there's something like dream vampires in it as well.
Good shit. That sounds like fucking Alex Jones. Sure. Doesn't he talk about fucking? And they're all controlling the government.
So I think at the end of the day, we're all looking forward to the Stephen King multiverse.
No, we're not. It's interesting because I love I talked to you guys about this film, which it wasn't a film, it's a mini series called The Langoliers, and I would implore you to watch it. You can get the full cut. Someone's done a full cut on YouTube. And it's about like these people who wake up on a fucking plane and everyone's kind of disappeared and they're like, oh, what's happening? And it's all about like the like negative energy is being eaten, and then they look outside and these Cocoa Pops are eating everything. Actual look like meatballs are eating the sky, and it's so bad. But the thing is, it was directed by Tom Holland.
Spider-Man.
No, not that one. The one who directed Fright Night. He directed fucking Child's Play. He directed Thinner. Like, he's obviously done good stuff.
And Thinner was Stephen King again.
Well, yeah, it's Stephen King.
It's
so
come full circle.
Maybe we're living in the Stephen King multiverse.
Well, yeah, the big turtle vomited us out.
Oh yeah, no, I forgot.
So yeah, the old Stephen King and his wares. And I think at the end of the day, we can all agree he's written some shit, and he's written some good stuff. And some of the stuff based on the good stuff has turned out shit, and some of the stuff based on the shit stuff has turned out good.
That is fucking.
It's a weird.
That's poetic.
Ebb and flow of the world.
That is funny.
Yeah. They are not linked. It's the Green Mile is the Green Mile. Leave it as that. It's not connected to fucking Pennywise, who was walking past in a fucking nurse's outfit or whatever.
I would like to think that the Green Mile and Shawshank Redemption were at the same place, but I know they weren't. That's just a dream I have. I was watching the Green Mile the other day. I forgot how much I sort of liked it. It's all right.
With a cup of coffee.
With a cup of coffee, only not spelled the same. Hey, this guy gets it. Oh, it's because so I watched it on Friday night, and the mouse bit was in it. And on Friday night, there was a rat in my house.
A rat?
Yeah. A rat, sure. As in like the size of a small cat.
Oh yeah. Did the dog do anything, or did he just sit? Is he scared of it?
The dog sort of stared at it and cornered it, and I was meant to get it out, and I ended up having to harm it, and it's dead now. And I felt bad about it. It was crazy. It was, and we had a hedgehog in our garden the other night, and I'd never seen a hedgehog in real life.
Really?
What did you do to it?
It's like a fucking zoo in my backyard.
Did you kill it as well?
I can't wait to move back to London, where it's just giant fucking cockroaches and stuff like that. Yeah, rats again,
foxes and people addicted to drugs.
Ah, two of my favorite things.
Raindrops on roses, whiskers on kittens.
Acid attacks in the street. You better wear your mittens.
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah. So yeah, good old Stephen King and his stuff, and we got a fun week ahead. And, you know, it's only we're recording this on a Monday of all times, and sure, we've all got work the rest of the week, but at the same time, there's a lot to look forward to. We're seeing a film on Thursday, like we said. We've got new films hitting the cinema this week. I think, actually, The Dark Tower might come out this week.
Yeah.
And you guys got anything else planned that you want to touch upon?
Nah.
I mean, Blair, you're heading off to far-off lands.
I am indeed, yes. But do you want to see The Dark Tower whenever I get back?
Yes.
Very good.
No comment.
And Adam?
No,
good. Good.
I'm not doing much.
Good. Except seeing Shin Godzilla.
Yes.
And that will be good. I will be there. I'll be coming from viewing a house. Hopefully, I will soon be moving to London. How exciting for the listeners.
Everyone who listens to this podcast is invited to Frank's. He has said
I'm actually fine with that, because I know I won't have to get much to to supply that party. The beers are on me.
Don't say this. Don't say this. Right. This is how things happen on Facebook, where people just send those open invites to people, and then all matters of hoodlums turn up.
They'll have to find me.
Before we go, just want to say thank you again to Dark Bunny Tees, who provide DBT, who provide prizes. We actually bought, I actually bought a T-shirt for Iris from Dark Bunny Tees the other day.
Oh,
yeah, you don't get much of a better advert than that.
You don't.
What one did you go for?
Got the Stranger Things 1984 one.
Oh, a fan of the old Stranger Things, eh?
Yes, it's coming back soon. So yeah, no, thanks very much to those guys, and they'll hopefully have some Halloween stuff on our Halloween quiz, which is not online right now. I looked.
Nope, which is good.
Yes.
It's good. Keeping people in suspense because they're going to be loving it. Speaking real quick of... What's that?
Even the people who run the quiz.
Well, the people who run the quiz just look forward to having some time off every once in a while. So I was going to say real quick, speaking of shared universes, what is the status of the Harvey Firestein shared universe?
I am more than ready to invest a lot of time and effort into a long essay about this.
Yeah, I'm.
We got Independence Day is where it all sort of ends.
Yeah, that has to be the definitive ending. Like, he dies.
Yeah. What else was he in? He was in stuff.
He
was in 9 months, I'm sure.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, that's the only thing I know.
Is that the universe? Mrs. Doubtfire and Independence Day.
It's my universe I have of him.
Yeah, so we're gonna pitch that. That's a Kickstarter in the wings. Maybe write a children's book based on Harvey Firestein.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2017. Let's do it.
Yeah, and then when there's an audiobook version, we can obviously get Gilbert Gottfried to do it.
Wouldn't we just get Harvey Firestein to do it? Why would we get Gilbert Gottfried?
Because I've been listening to Gilbert Gottfried's podcast recently, and he's got a good voice. I think he could do it.
Yeah, so's Harvey Firestein. It's not as if he's like just some bored generic fella.
But Harvey Firestein is busy, and Gilbert Gottfried isn't.
That's very true. Like, it seems from social media that Harvey Firestein is producing a lot of stuff, whereas Gilbert Gottfried, I imagine the bailiffs come round every month or so.
Although, apparently, there is a really great documentary about Gilbert Gottfried that is making the rounds at the minute.
Well, you should set yourself that task.
Making... Oh, no. Watching.
No, making... that along
I'm going to make a sequel.
That along with Boo and Medea Halloween or whatever the fuck it was
Boo
called.
and Medea Christmas! It's all dissolved into a bit of madness. Cinematic descent into madness, if you will. Here on the Firestein-ageddon. And on that note... I think that about wraps it up for us here, right?
Indeed.
Yes, it does. Where can everyone find you guys? Blair?
I am on Twitter, Blair vs. Shark, and if you tweet Filmageddon Quiz, I will more than likely read it.
Are you an active Twitter-ter?
I mean, I dabble.
Okay, good. Good.
What about you?
What about you, Frank?
Oh.
Me, I am also on the Twitter, at Sinatra the Tank. You can find me. I talk about films occasionally. I talk about video games frequently. And I mostly, though, talk about how much I hate commuting into work.
That's so true.
Look for all my gripes and good stuff on that Twitter. You should get involved in the madness.
Yeah. And
Adam.
Yes.
What about you?
I am at Dead Artists, and I live on Twitter. It has taken...
You do. You have multiple properties on Twitter, actually.
I do, yeah. Secret accounts,
hot dog blogs,
accounts, hot dog blogs, everything.
I thought you said butt plug blog.
Butt plug blogs. The ins and outs of butt plugs. Yeah.
Mostly ins, I hope. Mm.
Yes, at Dead Artists, and also at Filmageddon Quiz. And if you listen to this podcast and somehow you're not following us on Twitter, how the hell did you find us? Also, thanks for listening. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, which maybe you're listening to the podcast on that. Who knows?
Yeah,
That'd be nice of you.
What a weird way to listen to it, but you know what? Different strokes for the different folks.
And on that note, it's been lovely, and look for us on our record-breaking 4th consecutive week.
Don't jinx it. Oh, sorry.
Don't jinx. It's a secret.
It's a secret on national television. All right, well, yes. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. See you next time.